Yeah.
Guess nobody's home.
I had it called 3 times. So at like 11:40, we're set up.
Suddenly I'm seeing.
Yeah. And everyone was saying, so you sometimes it's none. I figured out that Mondays on what's going on. Yeah. No time. You don't know 35 days. Sometimes on the station in Portland, no, power transport. I have a question. So no, everyone wants to do. And we're just going for an hour. Right, that's true. Right. I gotta remember the quantity. Northwest.
Yeah, I can.
But it is a rush. I already know. I know you're not here. Yeah. Well, my question is
You never know where what people do.
That's true. We all know.
I had to drive around the rest of the day in the snow and like shoveling out my truck in the snow.
Leave me right there. What is it? Leave me right here? Vacation.
Story. Yes, not the full report.
Okay, so we have some more.
Yeah, so.
Oh, you got one of those. Cool. So it was, no. I got there. So I did that. Yeah. For a while. But the protests were very protecting with all these kids downtown. And they were also
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Is everyone all set? Good. Okay. So today at our press conference, you're going to be hearing from Chief Joseph, followed by our District Attorney, Jeff Rosen. Please hold your questions till the end after the two speakers. Chief Joseph will come back up to answer your questions. And so thank you for joining us again, and we'll have Chief Joseph join us today.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. When a San Jose police officer does something exceptional, something heroic, something that makes our community safer, I will proudly stand before you and boast about it. When a San Jose police officer violates the community's trust, violates the law, or victimizes a member of our community, I will humbly stand before you and take accountability. As Chief of Police, I'm here to deliver some very difficult news that you should hear directly from me. Yesterday, at my direction, San Jose police detectives arrested one of our officers pursuant to an arrest warrant obtained by our Internal Affairs Division for alleged sexual misconduct involving two minors that occurred approximately 13 years ago. The investigation was initiated and conducted by our department in coordination with the District Attorney's Office, who determined that there was sufficient legal basis to file charges and move forward with prosecution. On July 7th, a warrant was issued for the officer, and he was arrested by San Jose officers and subsequently booked into county jail for multiple felony sexual assault charges. Our department is survivor-focused, and we take all disclosures very seriously. We are committed to conducting thorough investigations in search of justice, even if that justice is long delayed. Having a police officer as a suspect in a case like this only amplifies the relentlessness of our investigators and of this investigation. Because this is an open and active criminal case, there are limitations to what we can disclose. We must also protect the identity of the survivors who have bravely come forward. However, I called this press conference to speak loudly and directly to our community, to reach any other possible survivors who may have been afraid to come forward, afraid because the offender was a police officer, because too much time had passed, or because they believed he would be protected by his fellow officers. Our actions today will hopefully show that there is no protection for any officer who is alleged to have committed such a serious crime or who has caused harm. While the charges relate to past events, I recognize the possibility that additional survivors with similar experiences may come forward. While we are not currently aware of additional survivors, if you are out there, we want to hear from you, and you can trust us to hold those responsible accountable. What we can share is the following. Our investigation began on June 18th when two adult sisters called the San Jose Police Department to report sex crimes committed by Officer Saul Duran that occurred when they were juveniles. Our department immediately began investigating the incident, and detectives learned that the alleged crimes occurred between 2008 and 2012, while Duran was a facilitator in a Santa Clara County program called the Parent Project that provided guidance to parents in best practices for raising their children. Duran's participation in the parenting program was voluntary, but he participated as part of his official capacity as a police officer and in addition to his regular patrol duties. During the program, Duran met the two survivors who were ages 14 and 15 at the time. He was perceived by their mother to be a positive influence for her family. Having gained the family's trust, Duran began to interact with the two sisters individually outside of the program with the mother's knowledge. Individual contact by facilitators alone with minors outside the program is prohibited by the program's policy and is where the alleged misconduct occurred. In addition to being arrested, Duran has been placed on administrative leave pending completion of the criminal and administrative investigations. We have also forwarded information about this investigation to the California Post Commission pursuant to the requirements of the SB2 decertification process. Additionally, I have ordered an immediate review of all policies and procedures for all specific programs involving minors. This is a difficult moment for our department and for everyone that shares this uniform. It is also devastating for our entire community to see an officer accused of violating the enormous trust placed in them. I do want to be clear that these charges have not been proven in court. Until a verdict is reached, the officer is entitled to due process and all the rights and protections that any individual would have. I also want to be clear that these allegations absolutely do not represent the extraordinary men and women who do an unbelievable job protecting this city every day. The very men and women who investigated this case against one of their own and are deserving of your continued trust. But what is alleged here is extremely serious and involves exploiting a position of extraordinary trust and access while volunteering in the Parent Project. This work was done in addition to and outside of the daily duties and responsibility of every police officer. Both our department and the district attorney understand what a violation of this kind means, and is why we are here today detailing our response. No badge, no uniform, no title can shield you from answering for the crimes alleged, and I will do everything in my power to ensure our ranks are free of anyone who breaks the law. And so I will speak again to anyone who may be hearing this and carrying a similar story related to this case or not. We want to know. You matter, you are not alone, and this department will listen. Accountability in this department is not optional. It should be what every member of the public expects of us, and it is what you will always see from me in a tragic situation like this. Thank you, and I will now turn it over to District Attorney Jeff Rosen.
Good morning. Our police officers from Gilroy to Palo Alto and San Jose to the men and women you see in this great department here in the San Jose Police Department spend their careers protecting and saving children's lives at the risk to their own. So today it shakes me. It shakes Chief Joseph. Today we've charged a veteran police officer with the sexual assault of a minor. Saul Duran is charged with sexually assaulting a minor more than 10 years ago when the victim was a teenager. We have also learned that her sister was targeted by Duran during the same time period, which is conduct relevant to the charges, but outside the time frame permitting formal criminal charges. I want to thank both of these young women for their courage. Without them, we would all still be in the dark. Defendant was arrested by San Jose PD officers a couple days ago, released from jail after posting $250,000 in bail. He'll be arraigned on August 7th in Department 23 at 1:30 p.m. We believe that Duran met his victims at the Parent Project, which is a program managed by the DA's office for parents having difficulties with the child's truancy, drug use, or other issues. In fact, this officer was fired from this program based on some complaints, none of which were criminal in nature, but in hindsight were concerning. This is an extremely successful program, the Parent Project, and one that I'm very proud of, with hundreds of local families successfully graduating classes that we hold every year in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. There's never been an issue like this before in the Parent Project, so today I'm asking the public to reach out to the San Jose Police Department if there are any graduates of the Parent Project who had any troubling interactions with this suspect, Saul Duran. Yes, these charges are from some years ago. Please know that our new laws allow us to charge people who commit sexual assaults even if those assaults happened a long time ago. As with murder, we can and must hold these perpetrators and predators accountable. Also, although it has been many years since Saul Duran was part of the Parent Project, we are reevaluating how we vet and train the teachers of the program to try to make sure that nothing like this happens again. These are extremely serious charges, ones where the suspect, if convicted, faces years in prison. Here's what doesn't shake me, but fills me with confidence and resolution. This department, this chief, these officers did not shirk when faced with evidence that crimes had been committed by one of their own. No matter when it was or who it is, a powerful public official, an officer in their department, they investigated, they arrested, and now my office is prosecuting. We take these investigations very seriously, very thoroughly, and we handle them with all of the seriousness and resolution that they deserve. These are things that can be counted on by the public and which the public should trust. Sometimes parents abuse children. Sometimes it's teachers or coaches. Here it was a police officer. It might seem like these things happen all the time, but statistically these are still aberrations. The San Jose Police Department and the DA's office are here to deal with criminal aberrations, to try to prevent them and to make sure that predators like this one are made to stop and be held accountable for the crimes they have done. Today we're joined as a public safety team to work consistently every day, every night, to keep Santa Clara County a safe and happy place for people to raise their children and watch them thrive. We're very saddened about what happened. We're very grateful that these women came forward, and we will get justice for them and protect this community. Thank you.
We're going to open it up to questions now.
What was the nature of the complaints against Mr. Duran back when he was in the program that in hindsight now are concerning?
There are allegations that he was spending time with individuals outside of the normal hours that the program was in session, and those individuals were both minors as well as adults.
Women or men?
Women.
Solely women?
Correct.
How long has he been employed by the department?
He's been employed here since 2003.
How long before he was arrested was he placed on leave from the department?
So we wanted to conduct our investigation without tipping our hand to him, and so there was several weeks of investigation before we ultimately had to reach out to him and gather more evidence and place him on administrative leave.
So he was placed on leave and then arrested after he was?
He was placed on leave first and then arrested about a week later.
Thank you.
He was arrested, so he was arrested yesterday.
That's correct. He was arrested yesterday, booked into Santa Clara County Jail, and then he posted bail, and he's currently out of custody with a court date, I believe, in August.
August 7th.
7? 1:30 or 9?
1:30.
And so he was arrested, or he was put on leave a week prior to this, to yesterday.
Approximately.
Would you review the charges against him again, please?
You have it?
There's 5 count. He's charged with 5 counts of 288C, which is a lewd and lascivious act on a child who's 14 or 15 years old.
And you said that there was a statute of limitations for targeting the sister, the victim's sister. Can you explain that, how that works?
Well, there's been changes in the law in the last 10 or 15 years which have extended the statute of limitations for different kinds of sexual assaults and child molestation offenses. And given how old the victim, the younger sister, was, 14 and 15, when the crimes were committed against her, the statute's been extended for us to be able to bring charges involving her. However, her sister was older than that at the time the conduct that happened related to the older sister, and the statute wasn't extended as to the older sister. In addition, there's some conduct he committed when the victim in this case was 18 years old, which is information that'll be very, I think, persuasive for a jury to hear, but is not conduct that we could charge.
We have a name question right here.
I'll try to get back to it and explain it. Yeah.
Sorry, maybe just to follow. 2 sisters, one at the time 14, one at the time 15.
16.
14
Yeah.
and 16.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you.
It's a little bit technical, the differences in the statute of limitations, but I think the best I can explain it is that for the 14 and 15-year-old, the statute was extended so that we could charge that. For the older sister, the statute wasn't extended for the conduct that related to her, although that conduct will be very relevant for a jury to hear.
So he had lewd and lascivious acts with both the 14 and the 16-year-old.
Yes.
And then had contact with the older sister when she turned 18.
The younger sister when she turned 18.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. As a note, we will have a press release forthcoming, so please expect that. We'll be sending that out shortly once we get everyone out of the room. If you have additional follow-up questions, please reach out to the PIOs. If you need Spanish interviews, Officer Hernandez is making herself available right now. Thank you.